Yes, hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss regarding the inductance of a single phase two wire line. So once when I talk about two wire, which is generally present in a single phase system, I can generally understand the term single phase. So you can generally understand by the two letters whatever that I've written here. So one is the line or the phase, and next one is the neutral which is being present there. So this forms the two wire line which is being present there, and I'm going to calculate the inductance of such a system there. So I can just rewrite the circuit diagram whatever that's been there for the two wire line. So one is generally the incoming conductor and the second one is the outgoing conductor, or the vice versa, whatever that's been present. So we can generally interchange it depending on the requirement. In the diagram I have the radius of one conductor being given as r1 and the other conductor being given as r2. So from the center of the conductor, so if I take from the center of the conductor, say d is the distance from center to center of these two conductors which are being present there. So these lines whatever that has been representing is the magnetic lines of force that has been originating from one of the conductors. So how it has been linking to the other conductor which is being present there. So these are the general terms whatever that we are going to talk about. And you have two more things which are to be discussed, which is d minus r2 and d plus r2 there. So d minus r2, so it is from this point to the center, like center of the first conductor to the outer surface of the second conductor, and this one from the center to the outer surface, the other side, I have this one to be d plus r2. So d minus r2 and d plus r2 are being present there in such systems. Yes. So if I have the next analysis, whatever that has been given there, so this analysis generally represents the rise in the magnetic field in the first conductor, and as soon as it comes to the second conductor, you can see that there is a decrease there. So there is a counter action from the second conductor, that is especially due to the current I2 that has been produced in the second conductor, and this one is the current I1 that is being produced in the first conductor. So I1 is the current that is being produced in the first conductor, and I2 is the current that is being produced in the second conductor being present there. So how it acts is, so you have the sum of the currents in a single phase system to be equal to 0. So I1 plus I2, that is entirely equal to 0 there. So I1, that would be equal to minus I2. So that is the one thing that is being present there in case of a single phase line and a two wire system. So you have two parallel conductors that are being present there, and it generally forms a rectangular loop, and the conductors which are generally being taken here is a solid conductor for the representation. So this is a simple understanding, the initial understanding whatever that's been present there. So these are the solid conductors which are being present there of a radii r1 and r2 respectively. So one of the conductor is forming a return path for the another conductor, and the two conductors are generally carrying the currents I1 and I2. Moving on, so we are making certain assumptions and neglecting certain parameters which are being present there. So one such parameter is the presence of the earth's magnetic field. So we know that we generally have the outdoor system where the transmission lines are being installed there, so overhead line conductors. So you will be having the presence of earth's magnetic field and the geometry associated with it also playing a major role in such inductance value. So we are going to neglect such systems for meanwhile, and the relative permeability that is being present there, which is same as that of air. So we are generally taking mu r value to be equal to 1, which is air value, and conductivity of such system is relatively small. So moving on to the explanation for part of this one. So I just told you we are talking about the term flux linkages whenever we come across the term inductance. So I have the conductor 1 which is being present there, and the flux which are being originated, and it reaches the second conductor. So now the current I1 is being established in the first conductor, and it reaches the second conductor where you will be having the distance greater than or equal to d plus r2. So that's the end distance, whatever that's been told there. So if you can see through the, yeah, if you can see here, yeah. So the flux lines which are being originated, that is due to the current I1 which is being present, and it links the end part. So that is nothing but D plus R2 there. So now we have to remember one more thing, and we have the current I2. It also produces a magnetic field that is in the counterpart direction. So this is the graph, whatever that's been shown here. So there is a steep increase, and later on it's been decreasing over a period of time. So why it is? So it is generally due to the opposing nature of the current I2 that is being present there, which is present with respect to, or with this, which is opposite to the current I1. So that forms the basics of understanding of the counterpart effects that is being present there. So there is a external flux from R1 to D minus R2, which links in all the conductor and over the surface of conductor, that is D minus R2 there, and D plus R2 generally. So once you have the solid round conductors being present there, so you have two sides of the surfaces that are being present, and the external flux links to the surface of such conductors there, whose magnitude is progressively reducing from I1 to 0. So that's what I told you. So why it reduces from I1 to 0? That is due to the current that has been established in the conductor to there. I repeat again. So why the current I2 reduces to 0? Because of the negative current in the conductor to there. So that is the only reason why you will be having I1 to progressively increase, and later on it decreases in a steep manner there. So I need to calculate the total inductance that is being present there. The total inductance of the current carrying in conductor 1 can be calculated assuming the distance d is much greater than r1 and r2. Definitely that is one thing that has been present there. Under this condition, it can be assumed that the flux from d minus r2 to the center of the conductor 2 links current I1, and the flux from the center of the conductor I2 to D plus R2 links the zero current. So there is a small bit of distance that is being present there. So this is D minus R2 and this is D plus R2. So if I can say that this current, whatever that's been established over the surface of the conductor, is relatively small, and we can approximately take the value to be equal to 0. So that's what it has been written there. So under this condition, it can be assumed that the flux from D minus R2, so the flux produced from D minus R2 to the center of the conductor 2, this is the flux area that has been produced, and links the current I1 and flux from the center of the conductor to D plus R2. So where you will be having the entire zero current being established there. So that is one thing that is being present there. So now I want to calculate the inductance due to current in conductor 1, where it can be calculated using the relation L12. Okay, so L12 is generally the inductance of conductor 1. Okay, so inductance of conductor 1 taking the effect of current I1, so which links the second conductor there. So we are going to follow the same procedure for conductor 2. So if you can understand this concept, it will be quite easy for the other concept where I can extend the same relation quite easily. So L12 generally refers to inductance of conductor 1. Okay, so that has been established due to the current I1, and it links the current, I mean conductor 2. So current I1, so that's why it has been written as 1, and this is 2 where it links the second conductor. So I have this value 2 into 10 power minus 7 ln of, that is the natural logarithm, d2 by d1 Henry per meter. So this equation is related to the external flux alone. So you need to understand how this things comes in the previous video whatever I have posted. So these are the distances d2 and d1. So I'll be making an approximations for d2 and d1 being present there. So yes, 2 into 10 power minus 7 ln of d divided by r1. So this one, it has been valid only for external flux alone. So the internal flux, which is the inductance due to the internal flux, I have the common equation which has been given as 10 power minus 7 divided by 2. So which is 1 by 2 into 10 power minus 7. 2 into 10 power minus 7 ln of d. That is the distance between the center to center of two conductors which are being present, and the radius of the first conductor which is being present there. Next one, I have the total inductance being given there as L1 equals L1 internal, that is the internal flux alone, and due to the external flux being present there. So L1 internal, which has been given as 1 into 10 power minus 7 by 2 plus 2 into 10 power minus 7 ln of d divided by R1. Take the common factor as 10 power minus 7. All the things are expressed in Henry per meter. Next, I have 2 into 10 power minus 7 being given there. Yes, take down 2 as the common factor. So where we have 1 by 4. If you take 2, it will be 1 by 4 plus ln of d divided by R1. So I can write 1 by 4 as natural logarithm e to the power 1 by 4 with base e. Okay, recall the properties of logarithm. So where I'll be having 1 by 4 can be written in terms of logarithms. So 2 into 10 power minus 7 logarithm e power 1 by 4. Okay, this one is written as e power 1 by 4 d divided by R1. So I can take this value to the numerator, from numerator to the denominator, I'll have e power minus 1 by 4. So this can be represented by R dash. I can write it as R1 into e power minus 1 by 4. E power minus 1 by 4 is taken as a constant there. So this value of e power minus 1 by 4 is 0.7788. If you take it in the calculator, it would be 0.7788 R1. So 2 into 10 power minus 7 ln of d divided by R1 dash. So this is R1 dash there. So this is also R1. It should have been written as R1. Make a correction there. R1 dash equals R1 into e power minus 1 by 4. So this radius R1 dash is that of the imaginary or the fictitious conductor radius. Okay, this is the conductor radius which I have assumed to be having no internal flux being present there, and it is applicable to solid round conductors alone. So this is a constant which is being present there, 0.7788 R1. So I can allocate this value of R dash to be 0.7788 R1 there. Okay, so moving on to the conductor 2, I can extend the same analysis whatever I did for conductor 2. So the conductor 2 carries the current in the opposite direction to that of the conductor 1. The flux linkages produces the current in conductor 2, where you will be having the opposite direction there. So whatever we did for conductor 1, we have to reverse the process for conductor 2 there. Okay, so the inductance of the conductor, that is due to the current in the conductor 2, I'm talking with respect to conductor 2 here alone. So it can be calculated as L2 equals 2 into 10 power minus 7 ln of d divided by R2 dash. Follow the same procedure whatever we did for conductor 1, and the same procedure can be extended for the second conductor, and I can write it as 2 into 10 power minus 7 ln of d divided by R2 dash. So I want the total loop inductance for both the conductors being present there. So the entire circuit or the total circuit, the loop inductance is being given as L1 plus L2. So it has been given as the sum of the two inductance value that is being given there. So it is written as 4 into 10 power minus 7 ln of d divided by root of R1 dash and R2 dash. If you can generally see from the properties of logarithm, you can generally have e power minus 1 by 4 and e power minus 1 by 4. If you add it, it would be e power minus 1 by 2. Later on I can take the root under that. That's the reason why I have the root value being given there. So R1 dash and R2 dash, I can generally take it to be R dash because it is a solid round conductors, and the radius are somewhat taken to be equal values, and the radius are somewhat taken to be equal values there. I can generally write it as R dash alone. So R1 dash equals R2 dash equals R dash. The square root and square get cancelled. I can write it to be as R dash alone. So this is in Henry per meter, and I can write this one. So if you can see the change here, 10 power minus 7 and 10 power minus 4. So it is Henry per kilometer, D divided by R dash, 4 into 10 power minus 4 ln of D divided by R dash, which is expressed in terms of Henry per kilometer. So that's how the derivation is being carried out, and R dash is taken to be the GMR, which is nothing but the geometric mean radius of the conductor. So the above equation gives the inductance, whatever this has been there. So this is nothing but the equation considering the flux linkages caused by the current in both the conductors. So this is being present there. So you can see here it has been expressed in per kilometer value. So inductance per kilometer, this is considered to be the loop inductance. So this is nothing but loop inductance being present there for such conductors. So 4 into 10 power minus 7 ln of D divided by R dash Henry per kilometer. Okay, so this forms the derivation that is being present there for the inductance of a single phase two-wire line. So in the next video, I'll be sharing regarding the numerical problems to be discussed for inductance of a single phase two-wire line. Thank you.